All right, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I'm going to start by giving all praise, honor, and glory unto the Heavenly Father, the Most High, our Creator and our power, who the world ignorantly calls God. His name is Yahweh, in the name of His only begotten Son, our Lord, our Savior, and our Deliverer, the Messiah, who the world ignorantly calls JC. His name is Yahweh Shai. They call Limla Yahweh, Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Chakadas. And double honors unto the apostles and the elder bishops of Great Millstone. Salutations, peace, blessings, and safety be unto the hopeful elect out there. This lesson will be entitled, this word will be withdrawn very, very soon. You know, the famine of the word is closer than we think it is, man. All right. It's a lot happening. A lot has been happening over the years. A lot more recent, excuse me, a lot more recently has been happening, leading to the famine of the word. The persecution of what we do, man. Us speaking out of the Bible, and there's going to come a time where this is going to be, because it's already in a in a greater aspect is frowned upon. Preaching the Bible, especially from the perspective of a Hebrew Israelite, but it's going to be worldwide. Okay, it's going to be internationally frowned upon in a way that's, you're looked at as a criminal for preaching this word, man. And there's many different factors that's going to play into that. There's a lot of things going on. Recently, X, which was formerly known as Twitter, they've changed their terms and conditions, as it pertains to what you can post. Recently, the information came out that YouTube is trying to make it to where its users have to upload their IDs to be able to post content. And they say, when dealing with that, they say it was because they want to be able to sift and separate child content from adult content, and make sure that children are actually watching the children content and adults are actually watching adult content. But we understand there's a greater purpose behind that. You have this, Trump and Congress is trying to, as they call it, sunset this Section 230, right? Which Section 230, I believe it was implemented in 1996, if I'm not mistaken. And pretty much what it is immunity from liability for different platforms like YouTube, Twitter, these different social media platforms, Reddit, so on and so forth. It gives these, the owners of these major platforms, it gives them immunity from liability. And it pretty much, they're not able to be sued or held liable for the things that its users post, right? So if you have different users on YouTube, they post some terroristic or some kind of hateful content, or some kind of content that's it can even be illegal content, dealing with um crimes, dealing with crimes. The actual platforms, and the owners of those platforms, they're not liable for the things that the users post. Obviously, at their discretion, they're going to remove it and they're going to ban it. You know, but they themselves can't be sued or held liable for that actual content that's being posted. But what Trump and Congress is trying to do, they're trying to what they call sunset that, which is, ultimately they want to do away with it altogether, but they want to really take away some of the protections that it has that comes with Section 230, which, when you look at the overall picture of taking away or disannulling that Section 230, those platforms will now be liable for the things that the users post. And it's millions and millions on top of millions of users on Instagram, on YouTube. You can even say billions, man. Yeah, we're going to say billions. Billions of users on YouTube, Instagram, X, Reddit, so on and so forth. And there's many different ghost accounts, you have people who have multiple accounts, and it's all kind of different content that goes out on a daily basis, and you're not able to, yeah, they have their systems, they have their different you know they have their different systems, and people that actually their job is to monitor content on these platforms, but they can't do everything, they can't watch everything, and a lot gets away from them, a lot is out of their control. So what Trump is and Congress is trying to do is they're trying to have more control. They're trying to make it to where they put fear into these platforms. So if they do take away that Section 230, that means that these companies, these platforms, they're not going to want to be liable or get sued left and right for the content that's being posted. Because somebody felt like being crazy one day and post some child PORN, or some terroristic threats on the internet, or some other crazy bugged out stuff. So what that's going to do is make it to where there are going to be more heavy penalties to the users. Okay, and a lot of people are not going to be able to actually access these different platforms. So it all goes into having more control and more monitoring with these different platforms. That doesn't exist in China, right? You have what's called Skyline, or excuse me, Skynet. Okay, in China, man, and the whole, I'm saying all of this to bring everything full circle. Okay, everything that you see going on in China is only it's a precursor. Okay, it's a foreshadowing of things to come in America, man. Okay, when it comes to Skynet, right? And I had looked up some information on ChatGPT, concerning Skynet, right? So I actually asked ChatGPT a few questions, and I'm gonna go into a few of those questions that I asked. So just bear with me. All right, and this is all leading to the famine of the word, man. And matter of fact, let me begin with a scripture. I'm gonna get Isaiah 29 and verse 20, and this is in the NLT. Okay, Isaiah 29 and 20 in the NLT. It says, I'm gonna read down to 21. It says, "The scoffer will be gone, the arrogant will disappear, and those who plot evil will be killed. Those who convict the innocent by their false testimony will disappear." Okay, it says, "A similar fate awaits those who use trickery to pervert justice and who tell lies to destroy the innocent." So, keep in mind that there's a war on truth, man. There's a war on truth. You know, there's no such thing as, um, you know, there's no genuine system set up to fight real misinformation. No, the misinformation that they categorize as misinformation is anything that doesn't support their system and their agenda, man. And by them, you know who I'm talking about. Those who rule it, who rule the world, man, who run everything. Okay. If what you're saying is not in line with their agenda, if you're not speaking in support of what they are trying to set up in the world, it's misinformation, it's hate speech, so on and so forth. You have in the UK and the EU, people are actually being arrested and thrown in jail, man, behind different social media posts and things that they saying, because it's categorized as hate speech, man. Whether you speaking against the alphabet community, or whether you speaking against the little bra hats, there's certain things that they categorize as hate speech. And if you make a social media post, or if you say something out of your mouth and they catch wind of it, you can be arrested and thrown in prison for it. You got a woman doing 2.5 years because she went on a rant and she was making, as they call it, hateful comments, concerning immigrants. And they flagged her for not misinformation, but hate speech. They scooped her ass up, and they threw her in prison for 2.5 years. It was an autistic dude, an autistic teenager, who was arrested because he called a police officer a lesbian, and they arrested him. Okay, so the sensitivity is increasing when it comes to what you can and cannot say, man. And it's, you see these things happening all around, except for America, man, because we have the First Amendment, the freedom of speech. But that's about to be done away with very soon, man. It's a lot already again happening, leading to that. Even now, a lot of, even though there's so-called freedom of speech in America, a lot of things people are very cautious to say. That at one point, 10, 15, 20 years ago, people were saying these things openly. You had different TV shows that would joke about the smart hats, and would joke about homosexuality, and would joke about these different things that now people are whispering, and people are very afraid to say out loud. Okay, because the narrative is being changed. Comedians can't even be open and say the things that they used to say no more, man. But that's aside from the point, but it's still relevant because people are scared now. You can't even say nowadays. You got people talking about unalived. People can't. You can't even say, "Oh, that person got killed." A lot of it has to do with social media and the different terms and conditions that they have. You can't say certain words now. It's become more tight and more strenuous, with their rules. But you got people that are very they walk on eggshells when they speak now. But this is all leading to the famine of the word, man. Even if it may seem innocent or it may seem unrelated, everything is dealing with, it's a gradual thing. Okay, so let me get back to this information. Or Salaki, I just read the precept, man, that well, in the KJV, it speaks about how they shall make a man an offender for a word, right? And I just spoke on what's going on in the UK. People are being arrested for hate speech. Okay. Recently, you had what's that? Nicaragua. They just banned. Well, they just banned the Bible. They say, oh, they banned tourists from bringing the Bible. Excuse me. They claim that they banned tourists from bringing Bibles in, but really, they're banning the Bible. Okay. So yeah, man, it's a war on truth. It's a war on this word. Okay. And eventually everybody's gonna be on one accord in demonizing this truth, man, this in this word that we speak. All right. So I had looked up what is Skynet on Chat GPT, right? So let's go into it, man. Because this is something that's to come very soon to America, man. All right. It says Skynet is a vast public video surveillance network initiated by the Chinese government, primarily led by the Ministry of Public Security and linked to broader digital governance systems. All right, it says these are the characteristics. It's nationwide CCTV network that has tens of hundreds of millions of video cameras are installed across cities, transport hubs, communities, and public spaces. So, China already got their eye in the sky set up over there, man. We understand Esau wants to be as the Most High, you know, and we know the Most High, his eyes are 10,000 times brighter than the sun, man. We know that when the sun shines, it touch everything. The Most High, his eyes is 10,000 times brighter than the sun, meaning he sees everything. Nothing escapes the sight of the Heavenly Father. He sees everything. He knows everything. Okay, he's omniscient and omnipotent, man. Which is what Esau wants to be. So he's taking notes when it comes to the system that China has set up. But it's a little different, and it has to be implemented a different way in America because they don't, it's not the same. you know in America, you have people that's willing to fight back. You have people that are heavily armed. You have people that, it's just a whole different system over here in America. So they got to go about things in a different kind of way, man. And they have to set up certain events that have to lead to that final, that final agenda, man. You can't just jump right into it because people ain't gonna go for that. All right. But it says it has real time monitoring. These cameras feed into centralized systems that can monitor, record, and analyze public activity. Right. So you're being watched in real time. You have people. Not only do you have computers working, but you have people that are operating these computers, man. All right, and constantly watching these cameras, man. And they're going to say things like, "Oh, it helps reduce crime," which it will. But at the same time, so like, yeah, this app, man. But as I was saying, I'm gonna read it again because it muted me. But as I was saying, it said, back on Chat GPT, it says that Skynet in China, it includes AI and facial recognition. Most cameras use advanced artificial intelligence and racial recognition software, letting authorities quickly identify individuals on site and match them with government identity databases. And as I was saying before it muted me, is that that data that's being stored and that the Chinese government is able to access. They're accessing that information very quickly, and something has to store that data. It's not just some data that's lingering around or floating in the air in the cloud somewhere. Something has to be able to store that data for the government or whoever is utilizing it to be able to access it as quickly as they are. Okay, which that information is being stored in the AI database, AI data centers, which America has been recently um, producing a lot of. We understand that there's most likely more um, already set up, that we don't know about, because Esau always, works on something or is already, doing something before it becomes public. Okay, but recently it's being spoken about as far as the AI data centers, man. You have one out there in what's that, Saint uh shit, what is it called? Somewhere in Indiana. I forget the exact city it is, but it's a city in Indiana that has a major AI data center. Okay, acres of you know acres of land with all of that technology on there, man. A bunch of computers, and you know I can't even tell you what that shit is, man. I just seen a video of it. It's a large area, you know. And then you have a small area in the front of the facility where people are, because it can't work on its own. You still have to have humans to to monitor it, to maintain it. Okay, but hey, for the most part, it's a big area, just straight up computers, man. So let me continue on in this information. All right, bulletin number 2. All right, it says broader architecture and surveillance and data. It says Skynet is not standalone. It's integrated into several complementary systems. All right, one of them is Golden Shield Project, the backbone of China's internet controls and censorship apparatus, often called the Great Firewall. It says that filters, blocks, and monitors internet traffic. Okay, that's your surveillance. It says another one. The second one is Sharp Eyes Project, which extends Skynet's reach onto rural and hard to monitor areas with local surveillance points and community reporting roles. So they want to cover everything, which means you're not going to be able to live off the grid. You're not going to be able to move to the outskirts, where you're outside the city and think you're just going to be off the grid and not being monitored or able to be reached, man. They're trying to cover all aspects. This is part of their agenda to see everything and to have everybody accounted for. You're not going to be able to escape. This is what he wants. Again, he wants to be like the Most High. He wants to be able to have account of every person, every animal. Okay. It says the third one is grid style social management, which is neighborhood level observers and officials that help report behavior and maintain local stability, merging human reporting with camera data. So it says Slocky. It keep muting me. It says I'm gonna read up because I don't know when they muted me, man. This damn app is crazy. It says grid style social management, which involves neighborhood level observers and officials that help report behavior and maintain local stability, merging human reporting with camera data. Okay, so that's your neighborhood watch, and people that agree with the system and they want to help enforce the system. Okay, and then it says big data and identity integration, which surveillance is linked to national digital ID systems, social credit, biometric databases, etc., making behavior traceable across digital and physical realms. Okay, so it's not just a thing of you know um, bringing down the level of crime, man. This is a thing of control. Okay, or, like I said, authoritarian. This is a bigger agenda that we have um, among us, man. Okay, so when that's implemented, you know, what better thing to implement with that? Okay, in you know, what better thing to implement along with this, right? Than something that can go inside your body and be more reliable, more secure. Okay, the MOTB. All right, the mark of the beast, which is the RFID microchip, man. This is going to be a part of the system that they want to implement. Okay, and that's why everything that we're talking about is so important because you know now I'm kind of all over the place right now, but everything is relevant. Okay, the MOTB is going to come. All right, and part of that agenda to monitor and surveil everything is going to be due to them wanting to regulate behavior. So that was the information that I got from that, right? And let me see. They said this is how it works and operates. All right, talking about that Skynet. It says it has facial and behavior recognition. Cameras don't just record video; they recognize and tag individuals in real time. It links faces and IDs to state databases and monitors behavior and patterns, meaning your walk, your gait, and proximity. So they got this technology is so smart that it can identify how you walk and is keeping track of your gait. Like your gait is being logged. So excuse me, you got a little limp when you walk, or you got a little bounce on your, you walk on the ball of your feet, or you flat footed, or you got a little, you slew footed or whatever, pigeon toed, man. It's logging all of that. So there's it's like advanced tracking, you know. So it says, um, yeah, that's it on that. So it says number 4. It says it as as I was doing this research, it was speaking about the data, right? So I went on and I asked ChatGPT, right? Does China have AI data centers? Right, obvious question, but I just wanted to see what ChatGPT would say. It says yes. China has many AI data centers, and they are a core part of the country's national strategy. So, if that's the case, this is looking very familiar. What America is beginning to do. Okay, we understand what China has going on. Everybody knows about the deep surveillance, the social credit system that they have set up. We understand that they can't just post anything on social media. They're deeply monitored and controlled over there in China. We understand that. It said the basis of that system that's set up and that allows them to have that much control over them. The basis of that are the AI data centers. If they didn't have the ability to store all of that information and to compute all of that information, they wouldn't be able to complete or accomplish what they have set up, man. All right. So it says what AI data centers mean in China. In China, AI data centers are large-scale computing facilities designed specifically for training large AI models, such as vision, language, and surveillance and analytics, running real-time AI interference, such as facial recognition, traffic analysis, and content moderation, and for storing and processing massive data sets like video, biometrics, speech, text, etc. Okay, it says these typically include GPU and AI accelerator clusters, high-speed networking, massive storage for video and behavioral data, tight integration with government and corporate platforms. Okay, so these platforms, they're not innocent. They're working in tangent, hand in hand with the elites. Okay, and it's starting off with, oh, you're not able to say the F word. You're not able to call somebody um, a lesbian or a British cigarette. You're not able to speak against, or say anything against the small hats. So things like that. It's starting off with things like that, right? But that's just the beginning of it, man. They want to be able to monitor what you can and can't say in life, not just on social media. They're going to be able to monitor what you can say in your personal life, to the point to where if they wanted, hey, Esau wants to be able to control your thoughts, man. Okay, and I'm gonna get some scriptures. I'm gonna just go through this information, man, because this is all relevant to what's coming. All right, it says who operates them. Talking about the AI data centers. It says state government linked entities. All right, state and government linked entities. All right, then this is talking specifically about China. It says China Mobile, China Telecom, and China Unicom. All right, which are state owned. It says provincial and municipal governments, ministry linked research institutes. These often support public security, smart cities, surveillance systems, including Skynet and Sharp Eyes. Okay. And we understand. Esau has a goal, to in the very near future, man, implement smart cities in America. Okay, that's going to be a worldwide thing. It's not just going to be a thing in China or in America or in the UK. No, man, they want that. They want smart cities all over the world, because smart cities mean more control. The more tightly compacted people are, the easier they are to control. If people are spread out and you got people living in the mountains and you got people living in the woods and you got people living, over there on the water, it's harder to control people like that. It's harder to keep track of them. But when you got everybody compacted and you're able to get to all of these different places, they all your so-called necessities, right? Whether it be work, your entertainment, your food, all of these places are within 15 minutes of each other, going either each way. They want everything in a big circle, man. It's like you're being put into a cage. This is what they want to do. That's what China has already done. Okay. It says yeah, so it says major cities, major Chinese tech companies. All right. I'm not gonna go into that. That's pretty much the information I wanted to get from that. Okay. So again, it's not just the thing about, you know, they're not just, and the thing is, they're not just investing all of this money just to be holding information, man. No, they're gonna want to use that information. They're not spending billion. This AI data center, this one particular AI data center alone, the one that in Indiana that I was speaking about, that one AI data center with that acres of land, that alone costs $11 billion. But there's many that are being built. Okay, just imagine the amount of money that China has spent on their AI data centers. They said they have tens of millions. Okay, or I don't know if it said tens or hundreds of millions, but they said tens of millions of data centers, man. So hey, they sold up over there. Okay, and guess what, man? Esau loves to compete. He loves to be on top. He loves to be, you know, the creme de la creme. He wants to outdo what they have over there in China. So he wants to make it to where when he implement his surveillance system, his social credit system, it's going to be unbeatable. It's going to be unprecedented. They want to overdo it, man. Okay, so I'm gonna get a little bit more information and I'm gonna grab my precepts, man. But this is all going into my point of quantum computers, man. And these quantum computers, they're able to calculate large amount of numbers, large amounts of information, okay, and give you access and abilities that your average computer can't do, man. At speeds that the average computer can't complete it at. So again, man, when it comes to these AI data centers, these people who are paying for this and funding it, they're not just spending this money just to so people can play around on the internet and make stupid memes and videos using AI. No, that AI has a deeper purpose. Okay, AI has a deep just the AI that the public has access to. Look how quickly it's advancing. Look how quickly its abilities is increasing, man. Just imagine what they got behind closed doors that's not accessible to the public, and how advanced it is, you know, and becoming. All right, so yeah, man, they're utilizing quantum computers as well, man. This is a large amount of information that's being stored as well as accessed, you know, at one time, man. So let me go to Second Ezra. This is the book of Second Ezra, chapter 5 and verse 9. And again, man, everything that I mentioned, it's all related. You know, from the UK and the EU arresting people for the posts that they're having or that they're posting on social media. You know, to Nicaragua banning the Bible. Okay, you got Trump and Congress. They're trying to get rid of Section 230, which takes away the immunity for these platforms to be liable for the things that their users are posting. So this everything, all of those things, have what they have in common is everything is going to get tighter. You're not just going to be able to say what you want to out of your mouth. You're not just going to be able to type, um, you know, like you got a lot of people that get on social media and they just whatever comes out of their mind, it goes through their fingers onto their social media, man. No, people are going to start being more conscious of what they say and how they say it. Okay, because there's going to be penalties, man, and it's going to start off with jail time, maybe fines, and then at some point it's going to be um you're going to be threatened with death, man. Okay, everything is going to be accounted for because you're going to have to be identified on your social media. You're not just going to have an empty account. Ain't no such thing as a ghost account. It's going to be linked to you as a person. Okay. Second is 5 and 9 in the GNT. It says fresh water. This is fresh water will become salty. Friends everywhere will attack one another. Then understanding will disappear, and reason will go into hiding, and they will not be found, even though they may look. Excuse me. Even though many may look for them. Okay. So that's putting emphasis on this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding that the prophets, beginning with the apostles of Great Millstone on down, have this word that we've been preaching and that we've been proclaiming. Okay, the fact that our people who we're proclaiming it to don't see value in this word, a lot of things, a lot of events are going to take place, which is the judgment of the Lord. The Lord is going to continue to visit the world in a way that's going to catch people's attention, and then these things that are going to catch people's attention because they're going to be so drastic. It's going to be a lot of death. There's going to be a lot of chaos, a lot of turmoil that's going to make people ask questions. And it's going to get their attention. It's going to get them to stop in their tracks. You ain't going to be able to ignore it. You ain't going to have nothing going on that's more important because everything going to be shut down. Just like for a short period of time, America came to a halt. You know, really the world, but especially America because that's where we live. All right. It came to a halt. The Lord gave a period of grace, a period of silence, and a period away from distraction to our people, and they didn't utilize it and they didn't appreciate it. Instead, they increased in their folly and in their vanity, man. They used that time of silence and of you know quietness to increase in foolishness. So a lot of people had to pay for it, but hey, there's more payment to be dished out, man. More judgment to be dished out, because the Lord is continuing to call, continuing to stretch out His arm into His people. So again, there's going to be particular things that happen in the earth that's going to get, this is about our people. So I'm gonna say it's going to get Jake's attention in a way that they're gonna be desperate for answers because it's going to affect their lives so much in a way that they're going to be demanding questions in a desperate type of way. Not, you know, it's going to be like, man, what is going on? Please, I don't know what to do. But it said, understanding. Let me read it again. It says, then understanding will disappear, and reason will go into hiding, and then, and they will not be found, even though that many may look for them. Okay, so right now, understanding, okay, reason, which is this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. It's not a thing of value to our people right now. It's not something that's considered a commodity right now. But again, when those events begin to take place in the earth, that's when this information that we have is going to the stock, so to speak, of this information that we have is going to shoot through the roof, man. And then people are going to be seeking after this thing like water in the middle of a desert. Okay, and it's gonna be something that people are willing to buy. They're willing to kill for it. You know, just as they're willing to do for money right now. That same desperation and you know, that same urgency that they have to get some money. That urgency gonna turn to just having this information, because this information, we understand what the scriptures say. Isaiah 33:6, wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times and strength of salvation. The fear of the Lord is his treasure. So this is the real riches, the real money that a lot of these people are going to be seeking after, man. Okay, but things have to happen for them to see the value in this. All right, but let me continue on. Right, again, it says, um, reason will go into hiding and they will not be found, even though many may look for them. Right, because as the apostles been saying, as we say even today, that this word has to be in you, man. There's going to come a time where you're not going to be able to carry around Bibles. You're not going to be able to have a Bible app. You're not going to be able to congregate like we do now, man, and sit amongst each other and talk scriptural. It's just going to be that tight, man. Yes, there's a real war on truth, and the time is coming where we're not going to be able to get together like we do now and go to camp, you know, and we might be able to have sit downs for a little bit, but then eventually that's going to stop. All right, and then whatever information we have, they're gonna take away the Bibles, they're gonna take away the Bible apps, and you know it's gonna have to be in you, man. Brothers always mention the book of Eli, and how that dude was hunting down that book, man. And when he finally got that book, he found that it was useless for him to have because it was written in Braille, and he couldn't read Braille, couldn't understand it. Okay, that's likened unto this truth, man. It's only for the initiated. It's only for those who are a part of that secret council, which is the friends of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua. Everybody else that's outside of this, you're an outsider. You're a stranger. You don't have that level or that relationship of intimacy with the Heavenly Father. Therefore, you don't know the Lord. So you're not going to know his word. Again, hence the title. It's going to be withdrawn, meaning taken away. Okay? Removed. Very soon. Let me go from there to the book of Amos, chapter 8 and 11. It says, behold, the days come, saith the Lord Yahweh, that I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread, nor a thirst for water, but of hearing the words of Yahweh. Okay? And that's much worse than a literal famine of a lack of bread and water, man. You better off in a literal famine of bread and water than a famine of the word. Because we understand that with this, the Lord said we should, if we have this word with this wisdom, none of us shall thirst or hunger. We have this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, and this is what makes us, Lord willing, we be of the elect, man. This is what's going to make us stable in the day of tribulation, man. In the hour of temptation. This is what's going to allow us to be stable because we have the understanding to guide us. This is like having a map. This is like having a map. Okay. And the thing is, everybody has a Bible, right? Everybody has a map, but not everybody is able to read that map. Okay. Not everybody is able to read that map and comprehend it and understand it. Even though they may have it. You may have multiple copies of this map, man. But you don't know how to read it. Because it wasn't meant for you, man. It says, behold, the days come, saith the Lord Yahweh, that I will send a famine in the land. Not a famine of bread, nor a thirst for water, but of hearing the words of Yahweh. And they shall wander from sea to sea. All right, the sea represents the people. So that when that desperation comes amongst these people in the midst of affliction, they're going to go from person to person, trying to see who got this truth, who got who got the answers. They're going to be going all over the place. And from the north even to the east, they shall run to and fro to seek the word of the Lord Yahweh and shall not find it. Just as it just said in 2nd Ezra, man, that when that understanding disappears and that reason goes into hiding, it's going to be many that seek, many that look for it, but they're not going to find it. That's why it tells you specifically in Isaiah 55, seek ye the Lord Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai while he may be found, which implies what? It's going to be a time when he's not found. The Lord, this word being withdrawn, meaning the understanding, the cheat sheet, if you will, being withdrawn, is the Lord withdrawing himself. That's how the Lord, this is how the Lord is pouring out his spirit and reaching out his hand and stretching out his hand unto our people, bidding them, calling them. But like he said, man, no man regarded. They despised all his reproof and his counsel. They said it at naught, just roughly paraphrasing. Okay. But people love to say, oh, you don't never know what you got till it's gone. Oh, but how much more does that apply to this truth? Okay, and many, like the scriptures tell you, then shall they know that a prophet have been among them. That time is coming. The time of condemnation and damnation unto those who didn't listen, as well as the justification of the Lord's prophets, man. Because those prophets are going to be the ones that hold tight and hold fast with this testimony, even in the face of death. Okay. It says, again, they shall run to and fro to seek the word of the Lord Yahweh and shall not find it. In that day shall the fair virgins and young men faint for thirst, right? Because they don't have this water, this living water, man. All right, and it's double entendre because they're gonna literally faint for thirst, in the famine. Okay, but like it said, man, it's a famine of the word, of a famine of hearing the word of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. So they're gonna faint for thirst. They're gonna faint for the lack of understanding. Okay. You know how hopeless and how, it's really no other word I can use. These people are going to feel very hopeless, man. When you're in a situation that is so bad that you've never experienced it before, and it's not just that situation, but it's many things going on at once. You got famine, you got disease and pestilence, you got chaos in the streets, all type of different things going on at one time, and you have no idea what to do. You know how hopeless people are going to feel? But the Lord is not going to let people off that easy. It even speaks about how many shall seek death and shall not find it. People are going to be trying to off themselves because of because of the hopelessness, the despair that they're going to be in. But they're not going to be able to kill themselves. You got to deal with it. Jeremiah 15 and verse 1. It says, then said the Lord Yahweh unto me, though Moses and Samuel stood before me, yet my mind could not be toward this people. Okay. Hey, at one point Jeremiah was vouching and speaking on behalf of Israel until he seen firsthand that these niggas ain't gonna change. They not gonna get it. He had to understand through experience that this is the Lord's will, that many of them are just gonna remain hardened. They're just gonna continue to stay stuck in the mentality that they're in. They're not gonna get it. Because at the end of the day, you have some that were meant to get it and some that wasn't. Some that are vessels unto honor and some that are vessels unto dishonor. Okay. And no matter what you do or how you may feel, you can't force somebody or you can't understand this for somebody, man. A man can receive nothing except it be given him from heaven. Okay. And this is why you see a lot of Israelites folding right now. You see a lot of Israelites trying to disassociate themselves with this truth and trying to, trying to choose the other side, man, and make it clear. You got niggas doing whole 180s, man. They ain't going 90 degrees. They ain't doing 120. These niggas doing whole 180s to disassociate themselves with the truth because they feel the heat increasing. They see the persecution on the way. But instead of them trusting in the Lord and getting more deeply rooted in Yahweh by Shemal Shah, these niggas like, oh, I gotta go over there. I want to be on the good side. I's a good nigga, master. Yeah, that's what these niggas is doing, man. I was wanted a good one, master. So they go and they want to be on Esau's side. But guess what, man? You lost. You already lost. You're not going to be able to escape the hand of Yahweh Shemel Shai. You can't, you know, you're not going to be able to outsmart the Heavenly Father, man, thinking you're going to go on the other side and work hand in hand with the enemy and then come back at the last minute and be like, Lord, I've been right here the whole time. You know, man, listen, you condemned, man. A lot of you niggas are condemned, man. For real. Back in Jeremiah 15 and verse 2. Let me see. Let me finish verse 1. Again, it said, though Moses and Samuel stood before me, yet my mind cannot be toward this people. Yeah, I can't vouch for them no more, man. I can't speak on their behalf. Cast them out of my sight and let them go forth, man. Hey, man, it is what it is, man. Let these niggas do what they do. Let them, if the filthy be filthy, it's like it. If any man be filthy, let him be filthy still. Okay? He that is ignorant, let him be ignorant. Verse 2, and it shall come to pass, if they say unto thee, whither shall we go forth? Right? What we gonna do? Where we gonna go? This is when shit start getting real and you know, it start getting real, you know, more tight, and that penalty increase. You know, it ain't just gonna be, oh, you get your channel clipped, or you get put in time out for 2 weeks, or no, man, it's gonna be jail time, and then eventually it's gonna be being beheaded for this testimony. And that's what they're trying to run from. That's what they're trying to avoid. That's why they selling out. That's why they going on the other side. That's why they folding. Because they weak. Niggas are weak-minded, man. Faithless. They said the unfaithful gonna die in their unfaithfulness, man. So you already lost. Okay? You turn your back on the Lord, what you think gonna happen to you? What's that? Second Samuel 15. Hey, the Lord is with you while ye be with him. But if you forsake him, he will forsake you. Okay? Back in Jeremiah 15 and 2. And it shall come to pass, if they say unto thee, whither shall we go forth? Then thou shalt tell them, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, such as are to death, to death, and such as are for the sword, to the sword, and such as are for the famine, to the famine, and such as are for the captivity, to the captivity. Okay? Hey, whatever your lot may be, that's what it's gonna be. And that's all we're gonna have to say. We're not gonna have nothing more, nothing less. You be lucky to get that out of us, man, in that day. A lot of you just gonna get straight up ignored. Okay? No conversation. Verse 3, and I will appoint over them 4 kinds, saith the Lord Yahweh, the sword to slay, and the dogs to tear, and the fowls of the heaven, and the beasts of the earth to devour and destroy. So this is when it starts getting real bitter, man, because once this word is sealed up, you know, just as, you know, like the brothers say, man, we building that spiritual ark right now. So once, just as in the time of old, right? Because the scriptures do say, as in the days, as the days of Noah were, so shall it be in the coming of the Son of Man. Roughly paraphrasing, because there's no new thing under the sun. That which was is that which shall be. You know, yeah, them still marrying and drinking and giving in marriage and partying and, you know, turning up and you know, being whores and being homosexuals and being murderers and being thieves and just living that wicked lifestyle that Jake loves to live. They're gonna be stuck in it, man. Because when them spiritual raindrops get to falling, which is the Lord increasing the, you know, the troubles and the evils in the earth, when this shit is in full effect, the doors is gonna be closed. The word is gonna be withdrawn. There's no more grace period for you, man. It's just straight up judgment, straight up punishment. Okay. And again, all of these things that I mentioned, it's all leading to that. It's like many different I can't explain it how I'm envisioning it, man. But it's like you're being closed in on, right? Not these people. I'm talking about the people that's not listening. Israel, that's neglecting the word of the Lord. They're being closed in on all sides, and they think that they're gonna be able to escape one way, but it's gonna be so much coming in at once. It's gonna consume them. It's gonna overcome them because they have a way out right now. They have a way to escape right now, man. This is the only way to escape. Matter of fact, I'll end with that. This is the book of Second Ezra, chapter 8 and verse 7. It's like in chapter 9 and verse 7. It says, "And everyone that shall be saved and shall be able to escape by his works and by faith, whereby ye have believed." Okay, so you're only going to be saved through faith and by works, man, because your works is going to show and prove your faith. And this is a thing until the end, until Yahushua returns, man. All right, not just in the winter or not just in the summer, not just on Sundays or Saturdays. No, man, this work is an enduring work until Yahushua return. All right, verse 8 shall be preserved from the said perils. The perils is the evils, the dangers. Okay, and shall see my salvation in my land and within my borders, for I have sanctified them for me from the beginning. So if you have this word, hold fast to it, man. It go for me first and foremost. Let us hold fast unto this word, this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. And continue to do our due diligence, man, to get as much of this word within us as possible. Because it's going to come a time very soon where this is not accessible, right? You're not going to be able to read. You're not going to be able to watch lessons. You're not going to be able to congregate the same way. There's really a war on this truth, man. And sooner than we think, this word is going to be withdrawn. And at that point, shit going to get 10 times more real, man. All right, Lord willing, I pray this lesson was edifying. And with that, I'm going to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Machakodash, double honors unto the apostles and elder bishops of Great Millstone. Salutations, peace, blessings, and safety to the whole full elect out there. DT, Abba, Babal, Kwame, Yashala. Until next time, Shalom.